Welcome everybody back to Rob's MetalWorks. We are breaking in the new year. 2016 is upon us here at the program. None better than to support a band from Atlanta. You've heard me talk about them, the band called Royal Thunder. And tonight we are speaking with the main man, Mr. Josh Weaver of the band. How you doing, sir? Great to have you on our program.
Good. Thanks for having me, man. Good to see you.
You're looking good, Josh. You look great, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
After a 5-hour drive, you look great.
After a blowout, and we're here.
Finally made it.
Finally made it. That's right.
Let's talk about Royal Thunder. I was telling you right now, I'm kind of like a Cradle fan myself, but there's going to be people out there for the first time who are hearing the name, who are coming to learn more about Royal Thunder. For those people, share a little bit about the history of the band, kind of, how the band has started kind of coming up a little bit, kind of getting recognized a little bit more.
Well, I started the band around 2004, 2005. It was like a 3-piece instrumental. Went through several lineup changes. Mel ended up playing bass, and she finally started singing. And the rest is history. We picked up Evan DePrima right after we did CVI, and did a tour with him, and picked him up. We ended up, after that tour, we did Crooked Doors, which he was on that. He's become such a vital part of the band, and of who Royal Thunder is. So, and after that was done, we picked up Will. You've probably heard him. He played with Zoroaster. So we picked him up after the Crooked Doors was done, because I did so much guitar work, and I was like, oh man, I want to really be able to pull this off live. So he wouldn't really do anything, and he's really become such another crucial part of the sound of Royal Thunder. We've been doing some pre-production, working on the new record, and he's been a great key to the band, just adding a whole new flavor. So it's awesome.
And just real quick, I said from Atlanta, and there's many renowned bands who've come out of Atlanta, good rock bands. Talk a little bit about your beginnings in Atlanta. How do you feel quickly about what's happening with rock in Atlanta? Because I think a lot of times people, when they think of rock music, they don't automatically think about Atlanta right away.
Yeah. Man, there's always great bands coming out of Atlanta. There's so much talent in that town. Atlanta's, like I said, it's any night of the week you can go and see a good band play. I mean, it's whether it be hip hop or in any genre you could think of. I mean, but rock and roll is very much alive. Sure.
Let's talk about your vibe now. I think I've heard so many different names for what you guys deliver. I've heard psychedelic rock or stoner rock. Yeah. But definitely, Royal Thunder's delivering kind of their own groove, especially with Mel's voice and stuff, kind of being very prominent with the sound. Talk a little bit about how would you describe what Royal Thunder's delivering musically?
I think it's all over the place, really. We all have so many influences. From song to song, it might be different. We definitely are. I definitely consider absolutely a rock-based band, and but other than that, I absolutely, it's kind of all over the place. We have so many influences, from pop to, you name it.
One of my favorite songs on your latest CD, we're going to talk about Crooked Doors right now, is One Day. And that song's kind of like, your music is so kind of like melodramatic to me. I think Mel has a big part of that. You have these really kind of, interludes that kind of build up, and Robert and I were talking about it. Your music's kind of always building and building and building. Yeah. So let's talk about Crooked Doors. Came out last year in 2015. What would you say theme-wise is happening with Crooked Doors?
Well, you're talking about how it builds and builds. Every album we do, we definitely, I think we all want it, every song and the whole overall spectrum of the album to be, like on a roller coaster or, a trip, you going on a trip. And that's kind of how, I think that we always want it to be. We don't want it to be one thing. We don't want it to be like, nonstop, floor to the floor, like rock constantly. We want it to be like, there's parts that break down. There's, we just love dynamics, and that's, to us, I think that's very important, it just keeps it way more interesting, I think,
I've also, had an opportunity to listen to some of your older music, but with Crooked Doors, it kind of seems like the band is hitting its stride now. This is like really kind of, you know, we're going higher in the Pinnacle. What do you kind of feel is attributed to that? Has it kind of, you know, been the solid lineup that you've had now, or, you know, what's kind of been happening with the band?
Yeah, I mean, I think the number one thing that attributes to that is just how much touring we've done. You know, being on stage, you know, night in and night out, you know, that has a lot to do with it. You know, you're forced to grow as a musician when you're on stage, and you become more comfortable, and you have more confidence. And it's definitely, we all, you know, these past couple of years, we've all grown as musicians because of it, man. It's very thankful and very fortunate to be able to be on the road and have that experience.
And right now you're on the road. You're out with Black Tusk on a short run. I think it lasts a couple more weeks, or ends next week, I think.
Yeah.
What's this run been like so far?
It's been great, man. It's been killer, man. It's been great, you know, hooking up with our homies and Black Tusk and seeing them. It's been years and years since we did a tour with them, so we're really excited. And Basque has been a really great band to tour with, so as well.
Been making some new fans?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think anytime you go out, man, there's always gonna be somebody new out there in the crowd. So,
and what lies ahead? You know, as we kind of are ending out the winter now, summer's upon us soon. What would you like to do in support of Crooked Doors? Do you still want to continue to be out there?
We will. We're gonna get headed back home and continue to work on pre-production for the new record. We just signed to Spinefarm Records. And really excited about that. So we're starting to really work on this new album. We have a tour in, March with The Sword.
Oh, cool.
So we'll be busy for a month doing that. And then after that, man, we just plan to hit the studio and just knock out a new album.
Cool.
So.
Now, you know, you kind of mentioned, you know, being on the road and stuff, and you mentioned you're signing with Spinefarm, and really that's kind of, I know you guys are really excited about that, kind of being like a on Relapse for, you know, these last couple of records, and kind of Relapse is you know, tried to build their roster, but you know, they're more known as kind of like something very metalcore. They kind of have, you know, they do a lot of really heavy stuff, and you guys, you know, I think when you guys got signed to them, it may not have been, I don't know if it was that best of a fit, but still nonetheless a starting point. Talk to me a little bit about how the deal with Spinefarm happened.
You know, it was just our term with Relapse was over. It was a great run with them. We have nothing but respect for Relapse Records, and are thankful for all the hard work and that they did, and thankful that we got to work with them. And our term was up, so we just kind of looked around, and Spinefarm was there, and got to meet them, meet the people, and really just fell in love with the whole crew, and really excited about just working with them and the future with them.
And I'm sure they're excited about getting some official Royal Thunder music out on their label. So you talked about working on the new record. What can we expect from some of the new music?
I mean, just, you know, the continual evolution of what Royal Thunder is. I mean, you know, we're always changing as people. We're always moving forward. We're always musically challenging ourselves. So something new, but, you know, still Royal Thunder, you know. When
would you like the release to come out?
That's hard to say. You know, we're gonna really work hard at it when we get back home, so as soon as possible.
Cool. I also was kind of remiss not to mention the video that you did, kind of, I guess, for the first single on Crooked Doors, Time Machine. Yeah. Really cool video, kind of psyche, kind of dialect video. Shows you guys jamming and stuff. I really dig the video. How do you feel about video? Because, you know, nowadays with, you know, the advent of YouTube and people, you know, watching video on the fly, do you feel video is important? Do you like doing videos?
I love videos. I mean, I grew up watching videos, you know, watching MTV and just being excited when there'd be like a video premiere. I mean, yeah, I love videos. I think it's a shame that the internet's kind of destroyed that. Yeah. But, you know, it's great to have a visual with audio. It's just as important, I think. So. Yeah, I think I love videos.
So you'll do some more for the new release, hopefully, if they give you the budget to do it.
Absolutely. We will absolutely be doing videos for sure.
Cool, Josh. It's been great talking to you, man. Anything you want to share? Any last words for the people out there in San Antonio and across the world who will see this interview?
Thanks for all your support. Thanks for buying the records, and look forward to seeing you on the road and rocking out.
All right.
Yeah.
Really cool. Thank you, Josh. Remember, everyone out there, you saw Josh Weaver of the band Royal Thunder have new music coming out on Spinefarm Records in 2016. Hopefully, I want to give a big shout out to my girl Amy out there for hooking me up with the man. You saw Josh and Royal Thunder only on Rob's MetalWorks.